What's up, guys? This is Bolt Struck with Duck, and today we're going over whether Justin Herbert is better than Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, in today's video, I'm answering whether I think Justin Herbert is better than Jalen Hurts, and yes, I do. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk more about that, but yeah, so basically, how this video started, why I wanted to talk about it, is maybe some of you guys saw the post from Eagles Twitter from a couple weeks ago where they were listing franchises that they thought Jalen Hurts would be the best quarterback in team history. And they included some crazy ones like the Steelers, who have Big Ben, Terry Bradshaw, and of course, the Chargers, which is why we're talking about it. So, what inspired me to make this video, where we're talking about Justin Herbert versus Jalen Hurts, and we're also going to talk about the best quarterback in Chargers history, is the fact that do I think Jalen Hurts is better than the Chargers' current quarterback? No. Do I think Jalen Hurts is even a top 3 quarterback in Chargers history, let alone the best? No. So, again, just getting into the Justin Herbert versus Jalen Hurts thing, my thing that I always come back to is obviously football is a team sport. Does the quarterback, have the most capacity to, you know, lead a team to a Super Bowl because they touch the ball every offensive play? Of course. But there's still, 50 plus guys on the roster that make an impact, plus coaching. All the Charger fans know Justin Herbert has been dealt some bad hands when it comes to roster construction, head coaching, things like that. And Jalen Hurts, quite the opposite. He's had stacked teams since he came to the league. And Justin Herbert just has been individually so much better, even despite not having the talent around him that Jalen Hurts has had. Justin Herbert's had a 5,000 yard season. Jalen Hurts, I don't think he averages even close to 4,000 yards a season. And again, it's hard to compare, but I guess the question goes back to ask yourself, how many teams would swap their quarterback one for one with Justin Herbert? How many GMs? I I think, Mahomes, they would not. Josh Allen, they would not. Joe Burrow, they would not. But I also don't think the Chargers would swap Justin Herbert for Joe Burrow. I truly believe that. And the Eagles, it's one of those things like, I don't think either team would swap just because Jalen Hurts, one, they already won a Super Bowl, so he's a fan favorite. But the team has been built kind of, whether purposefully or accidentally, it's designed well for Jalen Hurts. They've had great offensive lines, great running games. I mean, great everything, but basically it's designed where they don't need him to throw the ball 50 times versus Justin Herbert to win has had to. So again, I don't think the Eagles trade straight up for Justin Herbert, but the Chargers sure are not trading straight up for Jalen Hurts. For the Chargers to make that deal happen, they'd have to include probably a couple first round picks. And it's besides that, maybe taking rookies out of the equation, because when you factor in cap space, timelines, things get weird. But really, besides that, I mean, who else is saying no to a straight up Herbert swap? The 49ers are trading Purdy straight up. The Packers are trading Jordan Love straight up. The Dolphins are trading Tua straight up. Which brings me to the point, like, is there any crazier fans than fans of teams who drafted a quarterback in 2020? Right? Like, oddly enough, the best quarterback from that draft class outside of the Chargers being Joe Burrow, the Bengals fans don't really talk nearly as much as the Packers fans do about Jordan Love, the Eagles fan about Jalen Hurts, the Dolphins fans about Tua, and those are clearly the 3 worst quarterbacks in the draft class. Which again, it was like a Tua versus Herbert debate, and then kind of a Jalen Hurts, and then Jordan Love had like 6 great games, and then it was Jordan Love over Justin Herbert, and then obviously now that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it's like this isn't basketball, right? You can't ring count just on who's a good quarterback. Again, the easy argument is like, is Jalen Hurts better than Dan Marino? Obviously not. Dan Marino's better than 99% of the quarterbacks to ever exist, despite not having a ring. So that's kind of just my sum up, right? You see, Justin Herbert has not only had better individual stats, but he's done it with worse talent and worse coaching around him. So that's my take. And then again, go into the big picture, I think is a fun argument where who's the best quarterback in Chargers history? And my hot take that I've been saying for years that no one really talks about is the Chargers as a franchise have had the greatest list of quarterbacks that they've had in some capacity. So I'm going to try to go by memory in chronological order. So sorry if I miss anyone, but going way back, you got guys like John Hadle. And then obviously you have Dan Fouts, who's a Hall of Famer. And then kind of all in the same era, you had Doug Flutie later in his career, albeit. You had Drew Brees, who's obviously a top 10. I don't think that's a hot take. Hopefully that's not. Top 10 quarterback of all time. They had him for a while. Obviously, Phillip Rivers was on that team, who I believe is a future Hall of Famer. And if you want to get real technical, they had Eli Manning for an hour, whatever it was, because they technically drafted him. And then now they have Justin Herbert. So, I mean, that is just an incredible stretch of quarterbacks. And so now getting into, obviously, I'm not going to go all the way back to John Hadle. I didn't watch him play. I didn't watch Dan Fouts play. But I guess the big question that people probably want to know is the Phillip Rivers versus Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert retired today, Phillip Rivers is clearly the better quarterback all time. Thinking about the future moving forward and projecting for Justin Herbert, I think Justin Herbert will surpass Phillip Rivers just because he has the traits, right? Like, I know people hate hearing about how talented he is, but that really matters, right? And it's just now Herbert's got the coach around him for the foreseeable future. So hopefully he stockpiles some rings and or MVPs or just some great stats and playoff wins to that resume, because that's what he's missing, obviously. But I know some people will put him ahead of Phillip Rivers now because of those things, but don't forget how good Phillip Rivers is. He's top 10 in virtually every quarterback stat that matters, just, in terms of passing yards, touchdowns, guys who are like guaranteed Hall of Famers in Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger. Phillip Rivers has much better individual stats than those guys. So don't sleep on Phillip Rivers. So it's probably, again, if Herbert were to retire today, it's probably Phillip Rivers, Dan Fouts, Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert will easily pass Dan Fouts within the next few years, assuming he gets some playoff wins. No offense, Dan Fouts. One of my dad's, if not my dad's favorite player. So obviously great guy. And I do think he will surpass Phillip Rivers, but that's going to take a long career because Phillip did it at a high level for a long time. But that's my order of Chargers quarterbacks. So let me know down in the comments below, who do you have as the greatest Chargers quarterback of all time? Is it Justin Herbert? Is it Phillip Rivers? Are you going old school? Is it Dan Fouts, John Hadle? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more Chargers content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.